Okay, great. That's the best thing I've heard all day. All right, next script. The Way of Wham by Michael Zannettis. Michael, are you here? Inspired by Justin Wellborn's story, when Timothy Leary died, Justin decides to honor him by going into the woods alone to have a psychedelic experience. But as the sun goes down, he gets hopelessly lost from his tent.
Yeah. That's what happens in the story.
Oh, okay.
Justin had a great story. It had everything a story needs. Like, the character he's hurt by the loss of a mentor, and then he does a lot of drugs, and then he thinks he's going to die. So, but the only thing that would inspire me was like, we all had people who we've lost in our lives, and just like you lost Tim O'Leary or Tim Leary, I forgot his name. Tim Leary. Okay, it's not Tim Leary in the script. All right, yeah. So, and it forces you to think about what meaning you're supposed to have in your life, and what you're supposed to leave behind. And that got me thinking about all the people we lost in 2016, and that's what this story is about.
Jesus. Michael, would you like to choose your director? Drum roll! Don't look at the names, Michael.
There's nothing to see. I got Lisa Deng.
Woo! All right, give it up for The Way of the Wham.
Exterior, shithole Los Feliz apartment, day. Establishing shots, ratty exterior, needs a wash. Palm trees, busted up Honda Civic in the driveway. I mean, you know LA. Interior, shithole Los Feliz apartment, bedroom, day. The bro world's biggest George Michael fan doing bicep curls in front of his George Michael shrine. Interior, shithole apartment, living room, day. George Michael fans, 2 juicehead roommates, a blonde and a brunette, on their couch, checking the alerts on their phones.
Man, who's gonna tell him? Huh? Who's gonna tell him?
They clear out the coffee table and arm wrestle for it. Interior, shithole Los Feliz apartment, bedroom, day. The loser of the arm wrestling enters, grimaces. Uncontrollable crying from the George Michael fan.
But he was only 53.
But he did a lot of coke.
George Michael fan collapses in his friend's arms.
I mean, dude, I know you loved him. Like, loved him.
George Michael fan stops crying, stares at him.
No, man. It wasn't like that. I loved him like a philosopher.
Philosopher? George Michael?
Yeah, man. He was like Nietzsche. If Nietzsche could dance.
Nietzsche couldn't dance? I mean, do we know either way, actually?
Title cards. There is no comfort in truth. Pain is all you'll find. George Michael, as sung in Careless Whisper. Interior, shithole, Los Feliz apartment, living room, day. George Michael fans starting to hyperventilate.
I just don't think you understand what he meant on a deeper level. I mean, how is the world even going to live without him?
I think you really need to calm down before you have a heart attack yourself. Coke or no coke?
I said, how are we going to live without him?
Okay, look, whoa. Just breathe, man. Think, man. Think, okay? Now, you put it this way. If George Michael were here, what would George Michael do in this moment?
Masturbate in public.
Blonde Juicehead shoots his idiot friend a look, but then slyly moves his hand over for a pound.
You know, that was a well-known hangout spot, and anyway, he was set up. He wrote a whole song about it called Outside. Back to nature, just human nature. Of course. Let's go outside in the sunshine, in the moonshine.
He turns and slams the door of the apartment, a beat. Then he barges back in.
Do either of you have a camping tent on the way, by the way?
Jump cut to him walking out of the apartment with a camping tent in tow, a beat. Then he barges back in.
Also, do you have any shrooms? Because, you know, nature.
Title cards. There's something deep inside of me. There's something else I've got to be. George Michael has sung in Freedom. Exterior campground, parking lot, day. George Michael fan takes out of the trunk the tent, a rucksack, and a bottle of coconut water. He nods proudly to himself, then heads into the forest. Exterior forest, day. George Michael fan crosses a river.
Note to self. River.
He keeps hiking, passes a big bush of berries,
Note to self. Berries.
then comes upon a knocked-down tree.
Note to self. Exposed, rotting tree trunk. Nice. Mental map.
There he sees a small patch perfect for him and pitches his tent. With camp perfectly set up, he takes out a book of George Michael lyrics, then takes out a baggie of Coke and lines it up on the book cover.
Rest in power, my friend.
He snorts the Coke off George Michael's glossy, hairy pecs, then reaches into his bag for the shrooms.
But if you kiss me now, I know you'd fool me again.
He takes the shrooms with his coconut water and lies down. Later, everything's warped and twisted, but like totally beautiful too. If you just like sit for a minute and like take it all in, I mean, like really just take it all in? He looks around, sees his empty bottle of coconut water,
Fuck. I'm thirsty.
grabs the charcoal filter, heads for the river, thinks he saw something moving in the bushes, but keeps going. Fills up water at the river, then heads back up the hill, reaches the top of the hill and looks around.
Huh?
Returns to the river, then heads back up the hill, reaches the top of the hill and looks around.
What the?
Returns to the river, then heads back up the hill, reaches the top of the hill, then looks around.
Okay, the fuck is going on here? This isn't funny. Where am I?
Nowhere and everywhere.
George Michael fan turns and there's a talking tree.
There's nothing more, nothing more. There's nothing more.
Title cards, please believe me, the thing you dream of, they don't fall in the laps of no one. George Michael is sung in flawless. He closes his eyes on the talking tree, darkness, then opens them again, but the talking tree is still there.
You're alone and you're afraid. But are you afraid of being alone?
He's heard enough. He gets up slowly, then bolts for it. Running through the forest frantically, he loses his footing and stumbles right into a bear.
Whoa, easy there, buddy.
Oh my god, don't eat me!
Title cards. You say you want it. You got it. I never really said it before. There's nothing here but flesh and bone. George Michael is sung in Outside.
Hey, that's not nice. You know, people don't get you when you're a bear. They always wonder what I'm going to eat, but no one ever wonders what's eating me.
He screams, then runs again into Pocahontas.
Oh, fuck yeah! Now we're talking.
I know this is your magic trip, but I'm gonna need you to have a bit more game than that.
Title cards. There's things that you guess and things that you know. George Michael is sung in I Want Your Sex. And then she runs away, leaving our man there by himself. He looks around, then stumbles around the forest. Lost again, he circles back to the talking tree.
This tree again? Where's my tent?
It's here. It's always been here.
George Michael fan sees his tent in front of him. He walks over and can't believe it. He turns back to the talking tree and sees the bear and Pocahontas standing there with it.
Now it's time to do what George Michael would want you to do.
Masturbate in public?
She puts her hand on his shoulder.
You were lost, but now you're found. Let the love in, my friend.
Will you do it for me?
We'll all do it with you.
Title cards. Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like you. George Michael has sung in Faith. The four of them hold hands as they masturbate. And if you're wondering how they're masturbating without using your hands, may I remind you that they're on fucking shrooms. And it's building to a glorious but quite spiritual climax.
It was there the whole time in his lyrics.
We only needed someone to show us the way.
George Michael was trying to tell us all along, if only we would listen. He showed us the way.
And then the hallucinated entities together singing.
Love's in need of a love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right way. Love's in need of love today. Love's in need of love today.
And now you are the only one that sees the truth.
This could be a new religion. It could change the world, like Buddha and this tree. Did Buddha's tree talk? Do you know Pocahontas?
I'm Poca-fucking-Hontas. Of course I know. Buddha's tree did not in fact talk. That would be ridiculous.
Shit, we're like in uncharted territory, man.
The words from the title cards float out, forming a new George Michael beautitude. Things that you know, it would be nice. The things you dream of, flesh and bone. Pain is all you'll find. There's somewhere else I've got to be. A huge smile on George Michael fan's face as we cut to it. Interior, bookstore, day. George Michael fan signing his new book, The Way of Wham. Beside him is a stand that reads, 1, life is suffering. 2, George Michael is beautiful. 3, you are beautiful. 4, love's in need of love. 5, world peace. He looks over and gets a thumbs up from the bear. Pan over and a Muslim, Israel Forever shirt, and a Jew, Free Palestine shirt, are all thumbs upping him.
Wait, if the talking bear is here, does it mean he's hallucinating us too? Who's gonna tell him?
They arm wrestle. And as they arm wrestle, we get a supercut of all the characters reciting,
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know everybody's has got a body like you.
Do not mourn his death, for he lived in his time, and everything that has happened will happen again. The eternal return. He would always be George Michael, always filling this world with joy, showing us the path to happiness, if only we had the courage to follow.
George Michael fan cries and hugs the bear.
That's like so much wisdom from a bear.
Excuse me, but in this plane of existence, I'm actually the bear. Thank you very much.
Cut to exterior forest, day. George Michael fan staring at the George Michael book.
George Michael is dead, but in his death, we find life. The life of love. The life of love.
He looks around, sees an empty bottle of coconut water.
Fuck, I'm thirsty.
Grabs charcoal filter, heads for the river, fills up water at the river, heads up the hill, reaches the top of the hill and looks around.
Huh? I'm lost.
Fade out. Over the credits, the characters hum Faith. The bear, off key.
The Way of Wham!